Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am doing my third weekly wrap up for the third week of May, and this is definitely this last week was where I really started mood reading because as you're about to find out, I did a lot of switching up with what I was actually doing. So the first thing to note, I finished The Shadow Rising on audio. It was either like the same day or the day after I filmed my last weekly wrap up, confirming that I was nearly done. I will, of course, I've been doing a spoiler review kind of discussion for each Wheel of Time book. So that will be coming out this Friday for The Shadow Rising. But, you know, it's the Wheel of Time. Of course, I loved it. So that's probably no shock at all to anyone. I read very little more of Jade War than I was at. I'm at about 36%, and I think I was around 30% at my last weekly update. I just kind of paused this. It hasn't been bad at all. I just wasn't like super drawn in, and I had read a lot of kind of middling things, so I wanted to just kind of switch it up. I read a fair amount more, but I did pause Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. I am at about, 32%. So that one I was reading the Kindle version that I had purchased, and then I borrowed the audiobook from my library. I was finding the beginning fairly boring, so I ended up pretty much only doing audio just to kind of get through. So I got to the 32 point, and I was almost to the point where I wasn't sure if I was going to keep reading or if I was going to DNF just because I was quite bored. But I've decided before I make that decision, I would just do the real mood read thing and just try something completely different. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do just to try something completely different. And Andrew recommended Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So I've had this physical book for a bit. I've heard from pretty much everybody that you just like should do audio with this though. And so I haven't actually been reading the physical book. That's about where I am there, which is about 263. I don't know, I'm over half, like almost maybe 60% on Project Hail Mary doing an audio. And the narrator absolutely sounds like Seth MacFarlane. So that's what I was picturing, and that's who I'm picturing as the main character because of the fact that that's what the narrator sounds like. But I did, before too long, find out exactly why I think everybody recommends audio. The narrator is just good. The different voices he does for different characters are fun, but there are some things later on that very much you get a very different effect doing an audiobook, so I absolutely understand why people recommended it. This has been really fun, though. I've only been doing it for a couple of days, and I've gotten through pretty quick. It's a pretty short audiobook overall, and I'm doing 1.5 speed is where I've gotten to for pretty much everything now with audio as I've gotten more used to it. So it's been fun. It's just been entertaining, and I feel like it's good because I just kind of needed a change of pace. I wasn't super into anything I was reading, and so did that. So that's what I've been doing more recently. Some other things, though, that I also was reading, because I did have Dragonsbane by Barbara Hambly, which I commented I had just barely started. I am on page 182, so I am just about halfway done with this book. And I've been reading a little bit here and there as well. The other thing, though, specifically, is, and this was, I decided to try this when I needed a change of pace. This is the first thing I did after pausing everything, which is Daughter of Redwinter by Ed McDonald, with this really nice cover. So this is the one, my physical arc. I was going between this and reading on my Kindle with the e-arc, but I tried to do a lot of physical because I've never had a physical arc, and it's really cool. And this one, it definitely had some promise early on. The magic system and the world being set up were interesting, but it was really more interesting than like good, I guess. It didn't draw me into the story. I didn't really care about the main character very much. And it was just still some interesting world building. And then later in the book, I started to like it even less. So this was kind of middling for me. There were some good and some bad, but it was more middling for me, and I will do a full review of this one, probably video, and then I'll type one out too. I usually do that when I have advanced copies, so I'll get in more detail there, but that did not work that great as a change of pace, and that's why I ended up doing Project Hail Mary because of the fact that I'm like, I just need something very different, because I've been this was a week where everything was just feeling really for me for the most part. The other thing I did, which I also feel like helped, because it's just, once again, completely different and light, is I was working on continuing beta reading Warweavers by John Walker. So I did a review for his first book, and I know I've mentioned before, he's one of our admins in the Wizardly Duo Discord too, so know him pretty well, and he had asked, since I'd read the first book, if I'd be interested in beta reading, and of course, I've never done beta reading before, so that's another thing that's just super cool to me. And so that one is like, there's this website where it is, and then you provide feedback, and there are prompts and stuff. So I've been kind of going through there. It's been a little slower since I have to read it on my computer, which I don't normally do. But that's been good so far too. Really interesting. So it's gone in directions I was not expecting, and I wasn't really sure. And so it's been really interesting so far, and I'm excited to continue doing that one as well. And that also acted as a really nice change of pace. So between doing that and Project Hail Mary, two completely different things, a little bit lighter, were really nice, because I needed that. So I didn't get really any progress for the most part on the things. I mean, I got some. I wasn't nearly so far in Wall of Storms. I did a little bit of Jade War, but I didn't make a lot of progress on the things that I thought I was going to be reading this week, and mostly did some other things. And then looking at all the other things I thought I might read this month too, I made very little progress on them. The nice thing is that's totally fine, because I didn't set a TBR, and if I would have set a TBR, I think it would have been bad, because I'm not nearly like where I should be on the things that I'm like, I'm probably going to read this. And I did end up throwing some other stuff in, and that's awesome. So I really enjoyed actually just being able to throw stuff in and not feel guilty, because I'm like, I didn't set a TBR. I didn't specifically commit to reading anything. I had things that I'm like, I'm going to probably try to read this, but so it's still been nice. And it'll be interesting to see if I can plow through these, what I grab next, because I'm not really sure. But that we'll have to find out in next week's weekly wrap-up, which will be for the last week of May. So that is what I have for you here today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Duo Discord. If you want to chat books, whether these books, other books, really anything at all, it's a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.